I was an OnlyFans creator during the pandemic. My name is Nate. I used to do OnlyFans during the pandemic. Full stop. I was one of those thousands of desperate 20 somethings who lost their jobs, ran out of savings, swallowed their pride, and decided if men are already creeping in my DMs, they might as well pay for it. Hold on, girl named Nate. Interesting. I see what you're kicking up, ChatGPT. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not ashamed either. It was survival. Rent doesn't care about your dignity. Before COVID, I was a barista and part-time bartender at a busy restaurant downtown. It was fine, full stop. Not glamorous, but I liked the noise, the flirting, the dumb drama. I had my gym routine, my little circle of friends, crushes and dates that went nowhere. I posted the standard gay boy. Gay boy content on Instagram.
Nice. Nice.
See, he didn't leave any loose ends. This is a good storyteller. Instagram.
Yeah.
Locker room selfies, kitchen dancing, accidental underwear photos. Just one more thirsty gay among thousands. Then the pandemic hit. The restaurant shut temporarily. That turned into no shifts, no tips, no job. My roommate went back to her parents, says, I didn't have that privilege. I sat in an empty apartment and watched my savings dwindle to almost nothing. With nowhere to go, I started living on my phone. Everyone else did too. People were more present online, more bored, more willing to talk. My DMs filled with the usual flame emojis. Hey handsome, you're cute. What gym do you go to? And more often, do you have OnlyFans? I'd always laughed it off, sent a dumb emoji, said no. Then one day I opened my banking app and I saw I had $32 left. Suddenly, the question felt different. If they already wanted to look, why not charge? So I did it. I set up an account, picked a username that sounded hot but not too distinctive, posted a few teasers on Twitter and my IG story, and pretended I wasn't shaking while I did it. I told myself it was a temporary pandemic side hustle. The learning curve was steep and embarrassing. The first month, my content was awful. Bad lighting, stiff posing, obvious nerves. People subscribed anyway. First 8, then 20, then 50. My first payout was more than I'd ever made in a week at the cafe. That hit me harder than any compliment. After that, the months blurred. I figured out angles, bought a ring light, upgraded my phone, and called it an investment. Income climbed, 1 grand, then 2, then 3. My world shrank to my apartment, my phone, and the invisible crowd on the other side of the screen. I started doing small collabs with other guys in the same lane, but nothing huge, just enough to feel like I was slowly climbing. If you've never done that kind of work, there's one thing you need to understand. When your income depends on strangers wanting to look at you, your whole life rearranges itself around the idea of being seen. What do you eat? When you sleep? How often you exercise? Everything filters through, will this make me look better or worse on camera? You're never alone, even when you're physically alone, because you're always aware of a phantom audience. I was deep in that mindset when he noticed me. It happened on a Tuesday night. I remember because the taco place across the street had a special and I decided I couldn't even afford discount tacos. But you were making a lot of money. Huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I was lying in bed in old gym shorts, scrolling, trying to figure out what to film next. A notification slid down. Leandro Lux has replied to your story. Fucking Lex Luthor over here. At first, I was sure it had to be a fake account. Even if you're not gay, you've probably seen his face. He was everywhere. Hottest men pages, fitness accounts, travel content, brand campaigns. That perfectly calibrated kind of male beauty that it looks good in every city, every outfit, every filter. He wasn't just an OnlyFans guy or just an influencer. He did modeling, sponsored trips, guest appearances, Pyromaniac Soldier collabs, little background cameos in movies and music videos. Celebrities followed him. Designers dressed him. He'd even shown up at that Met Gala once. And there he was, in my notifications. His message was simple. He told me I was really bright. That was it. But it hit like a truck. I checked his profile 3 times to make sure it was real. Checkmark, millions of followers, perfect grid. He's seen a story of mine, some dumb thirst trap in my kitchen, and responded like I'd stood out from a crowd. You have to understand the headspace I was in. I hadn't been touched in months except by myself. I hadn't been out on a real date in even longer. My sense of self-worth was tangled in subscriber counts and tips. Having him say I stood out didn't just flatter my looks, it made me feel like the universe had briefly turned the spotlight toward me. and said this one. Full stop. I replied to something awkward, the way people do when trying not to sound overeager. He told me he watched more than I thought, that I had a warmth he liked, and casually asked if I ever thought about collaborating. After that, things changed very fast. Within a week, my socials exploded. Followers, tips, subs, everything spiked. I started getting messages from people saying they'd found me through his story. Turns out he'd reposted one of my videos with a caption calling me obsessed, and tagged my handle. One word from him and my life jumped to a new tier. Brands were suddenly in my DMs. Bigger creators followed me back. I was headed to a group chat full of men I'd silently stalked and thirsted over for years. It felt like a door had opened and I'd finally been admitted to whatever was on the other side. Fucking Epstein Island. Then he called. He used my full name, like he'd always known it. His voice was lower than I expected. Calm, smooth, practiced. Just like Isaiah. He said he was putting together a tiny, exclusive retreat at a luxury rental. Content, networking, relaxation, everything taken care of, transportation covered, private jet, yeah? Just a handful of male creators he'd personally handpicked. He said I had a glow he wanted to nurture and work more closely with, huh? Getting closer to what I mentioned earlier. Lockdown was still technically a thing, but people with money were already traveling, partying, pretending it was over. I hadn't left the city in over a year. The idea of a house, a pool, meeting hot guys, being chosen by him, it was intoxicating. And I said yes so fast, I'm so embarrassed thinking about it. I got the confirmation email 10 minutes later. NDA attached, a glossy PDF explaining house rules. Privacy, no posting location, no filming staff, no leaving the grounds without permission. Excuse me, it read like an official brand influencer trip. The kind agencies organized for big campaigns. My friends freaked out when I told them. Someone joked I'd be sacrificed. I joked back that if he was a vampire, he'd at least keep me hot forever.
He's about to be taken to the fucking Valley of Dolls mansion.
This is some fucked up shit right here. I wish I could go back and slap the phone out of my own hand. From the outside, the place looked like every luxury Airbnb you've ever seen on Instagram. White walls, big windows, a mirror-like pool, and plenty of spaces designed to photograph well. Beautiful in that sterile, expensive way that feels like no one actually lives there. The driver didn't talk much. My signal cut out long before he pulled into the driveway. Inside, something felt off almost immediately, and I couldn't articulate why. The furniture, it almost looked like people. The lack of mirrors was the first thing that stood out. Anywhere you'd normally expect one. Entryway, above the fireplace, bathroom sinks. Mirror above the fireplace? What the fuck? What do you live in? Amnesia? There was either bare wall or abstract art. When I asked about it, one of the staff told me they preferred less distraction, more presence, with a tight smile that didn't match their eyes.
Okay, do you want me to read the rest of this?
No. The guest room assigned to me was gorgeous. Huge bed, high ceilings, a wall of blackout curtains, a bathroom bigger than my entire apartment. There was a little card on the nightstand with my name on it, and a quote in looping script. "You are here to shine," underneath in small letters, "curated by Lex Luthor." The other guys trickled in. I recognized a couple of them immediately in that embarrassing, heart-thumping way you do when you've seen someone in, well, action before. Tyler, the all-American golden boy with the kind of body sports brands love. And Diego. I'm in VC with a Diego right now. A Mexican swimmer type who did bilingual thirst content and sent money home to his family. It's kind of racist, you know? That's kind of a racist stereotype. Don't you agree, Mr. Javier?
Yeah, no, this is, fucking evil.
There are others. Carter, Ray, each with their own carefully curated appeal. All of them gorgeous. All of them a little more subdued in person than they were online. Some of that was probably nerves. Some of it wasn't. Leandro arrived to last. He looked exactly like he does on screen. It's hard to explain how unsettling that is. Most people look different off camera, softer, more textured, less precise. He didn't. In person, he had the same flawless, seemingly poreless skin, the same carved jawline, the same almost too bright eyes. He moved like he was being filmed, even when he wasn't, always catching the light at the right angle without seeming to try. So is this guy just like Patrick Bateman or something?
Probably. That seems like the direction they're going for.
Is this a real person? Well, is this a real person though?
I don't like. Is this supposed to be like? Like his no sleep, like filled with
Is this
what the
supposed to be
fuck?
the guy?
What the fuck? No, it's probably just like yeah, no, it's just a guitar dude. Somebody who does like metal
Wow,
covers shit.
he looks like the perfect man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, Metallica, nice. Alright, back to where we were doing. Um, where was I? He
But
greeted
okay,
all of
good.
us. Said, oh no, Jebediah, you continue. Let's have some Mexico representation.
Okay. He greeted all of us, said the expected things about connection and vulnerability, and quote unquote letting our inner light come out. He called me bright again, told me he'd been excited to meet me in person, and when his attention was on me, the room felt like it was narrowing to just the two of us. The first day was carefully structured to feel casual and organic. Smoothies in the morning, a breathwork and yoga section by the pool, light filming that looked candid but was clearly choreographed, group meals that were supposedly relaxed but always staged around long tables and good lighting. He floated through it all like a host, and Bran merged into one person. He was nice. I could see why people followed him, but there was something off. Something I told myself was just nerves, or starstruck awe. At some point after lunch, he pulled me aside. He said he wanted to test our chemistry before doing anything big. No cameras, just the two of us. To see how we were together off screen, he framed it as something professional, almost ethical, like he didn't want to sell a fantasy that didn't feel authentic. I went to his room before dinner. You don't need me to tell you what happened in detail. It happened. It was tense and strangely quiet. What matters is how my body reacted. We both watched Europa the last battle together.
And I was shaking.
Yeah. Okay. Time didn't feel right in there. Things flickered. I'd close my eyes and open them to what felt like a second later, only to realize my muscles burned like I'd been moving for ages. My fingers and toes went numb and never fully warmed up again. The room felt cold from the inside out, like someone was slowly pouring ice through my veins. He controlled my breathing.
This is just him describing that he got the like fucked beyond belief. That's crazy.
Yeah, what is this fucking? What is this prose?
Like
What is this prose?
the dick and I've been that crazy, bro. Alright, continue.
Okay, you control. I need a minute.
Calm down. Keep it in your pants, Jebediah. Keep it in your pants. I know you've always wanted to meet Lex Luthor as well and have him dick you down, but calm down.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, you controlled my breathing the way a trainer told me to exhale with him. The more I exhaled, the weaker I felt. There were brief flashes when the air seemed to brighten up naturally, like getting hit with a ring light to the face. His expression sharp and perfectly clear, while everything else washed out. He barely looked winded afterward. Oh shit! A Turk entered. How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm back after the 5 hour nap.
Ignore the Ottoman invasion. Continue.
Ignore the OBS recording. Where was I?
I don't fucking remember.
Where the fuck did I leave off?
What are you guys doing?
He barely looked winded afterwards, something like that. I felt like I'd run a marathon. Wait, no. You read the time didn't read right. Did you read that he controlled my breathing the way a trainer does?
Yes.
Then he barely looked winded afterward. Just go there. I'll fucking check when I'm editing the video.
Yeah, he barely looked winded afterward. I felt like I'd run a marathon on the wrong body. I remember lying there trying to catch my breath and feeling the strange sensation, like something had been siphoned out of me that wasn't sweat or effort. The only other was starve. I can't.
He siphoned something out of me.
The next thing I knew, I was in my own room. There was no memory of walking down the hall, no goodbye, no door closing behind me. Just his room, and then my ceiling. The clock said it was almost 9. I still don't know how long I was actually in there. The physical changes started small. Heaviness in my limbs, a dull ache in my joints, a kind of fatigue that didn't match what we'd actually done. At dinner, everyone looked rough. Tyler's hand shook. Carter kept rubbing at the base of his skull. Diego moved like his arms and legs weighed extra. Ray looked half dead, washed out, eyes sunk deep, lips colorless. We all kind of joked about being tired, about quote-unquote long shooting days and getting old. But there was an edge to it. Leandro looked fine. Better than fine, actually. He was bright, animated, almost glowing in the candlelight. He ate well, laughed easily, made soft, reassuring comments about how the first day of deep work always felt like that. Siphoned adrenochrome. I knew it.
Yeah.
He ran group sharing sessions at night that felt like a mix of group therapy, confession, and content planning. He talked about trauma, money problems, family, shame. He listened with this hyper-focused attention that felt flattering and invasive at the same time. The more we opened up, the more energized he seemed. But the third day, I didn't feel like myself anymore. Do you want to read the rest of this, Overlord?
No.
That's probably for the better. Alright, I'll start again.
Yeah.
Hold on. While we're in the middle of this. This just seems like, Epstein Island roleplay. Plus, I'm starting to think he might actually be a vampire. I woke up one morning, turned on my front-facing camera, because there were no mirrors, and the face looking back didn't match what I remembered. Subtle things, but real. Deeper shadows in my eyes, a slightly sharper jaw, a tiredness around the mouth that doesn't belong on a mid-20s face. How do you have a tired mouth? Well, when you suck too much dick, I guess that makes sense. When I turned my head, the image lagged for a second. My real head moved. The version of the screen stayed facing forward for a beat, eyes still locked on mine, and then snapped to catch up. I dropped the phone. Everyone else seemed to be deteriorating too. Complaints about weird sleep, time gaps, waking up in places they hadn't meant to fall asleep. Diego mentioned that his tattoo looked faded and kept touching his chest like it'd been hit. Tyler said that he felt like he'd aged 10 years in 3 days. No one said it outright, but we were all circling the same fear. Ray didn't show up to breakfast on the 4th morning.
Oh, El Diablo.
El Diablo got him. The devil from the Bible. A staff member casually mentioned he left early, overwhelmed by the intensity. That's crazy. And imagine being told by someone, oh yeah, that guy, he was fucked so hard, he just couldn't take it, so he had to go home.
Yeah.
Like that was totally a normal thing to happen between midnight and dawn in a remote house in the woods. When I checked his accounts during our limited phone time, they were gone. Not in the usual way. No, not user found. No deactivated profile. It was like his handles had never existed. Cached links, forward. Mentions redirected to nothing. Our DMs labeled him as unknown user. He disappeared from the internet in less than 12 hours. Looking back, that should have been the moment I ran. Instead, I did what traumatized people do. I rationalized, told myself it was a glitch, or a dramatic rebrand, or something he'd planned. The storm that saved me hit on the 4th night. It rolled in hard. Black sky, sideways rain, wind that made the glass shudder. Sometime after midnight, the power flickered and the house dropped into emergency lighting. Red glows in the hallways, alarm beeps, staff moving fast. 28 days later, described. That was the first time since arriving that I felt like the house itself wasn't in control. I got up, threw on clothes, and without fully deciding to, headed for the back corridors. There was a service hallway behind the kitchen that ended in a metal door I'd noticed once and then promptly forgotten. In the red emergency light, it looked like their only real exit. It was locked. Of course it was. I was still standing there, fingers slipping on the handle, when I heard him say my name. He didn't shout. He just spoke it like he was mildly disappointed to find me messing with something I shouldn't. When I turned, he was standing at the far end of the corridor, barefoot, in casual clothes that somehow made him more unnerving. The red light flattened his features, made his eyes look too dark. He told me I didn't need to run, that I was already half gone, that if I left, I'd just fade, my body failing faster than it should, my only online presence crumbling, my life getting harder in ways I wouldn't be able to understand. He said if I stayed, at least the ending would be beautiful. When I demanded to know what he was and what he'd done to Ray, he sounded bored. He'd said he'd been doing this for centuries, that people always asked that question, that the only thing I needed to know was that he was always hungry. Lightning exploded outside, bright enough to turn the red emergency light white for a heartbeat. It flashed through the narrow window up to the door and hit him full on. I will never forget what I saw for that 1 second. His skin wasn't that smooth, tan perfection I'd seen on my phone. It was a dead bluish gray, stretched too tight over sharp bones, mottled in places like old stone left in water too long. His cheekbones jutted out at an almost impossible angle, carving deep hollows into his face. His mouth was slightly open, and it was wrong, too wide. Lips thinned back just enough to show teeth, that one fangs but still looked predatory. Uneven lengths and shapes like they'd grown, wherever they wanted. His eyes weren't eyes at all in that light. They were pits, too deep, black sockets sunk so far back they looked empty, like something had scooped out the living part long ago. and left only hunger staring out. His whole head seemed a little too long, a little too narrow. I liked the idea of a face stretched over something that hadn't been designed for one. Then the lightning faded, and the red came back, and he was just Leonardo again. Beautiful, human, perfect. It was enough. I hit the door with my shoulder. Pain shot down my arm. It didn't budge. He told me very calmly that I was making things harder than they needed to be. I hit it again. Something in the frame cracked. The latch snapped. The door flew open and real night air hit me. Wet, cold, full of trees and mud, and everything that wasn't curated. I ran. I don't remember much of that sprint except mud falling, getting back up, the sense of something watching but not quite touching. I was sure the whole time that if I looked back I'd see that gray face right behind me, those empty sockets closing in. I didn't look. Eventually I stumbled out onto the main road, half expecting to be yanked backward by invisible hands. Instead, a truck stopped. The driver didn't ask too many questions. At the first gas station, I saw myself in the bathroom mirror and finally understood just how much he'd taken. I'd left home looking barely legal. What a weird description. Round-faced. Baby soft, the kind of guy who still got carded for energy drinks. The man who came back could have passed his early 40s on a good day. Jaw sharper, lines between the brows, skin duller, eyes heavier, like I'd spent a decade learning how to be retired. I didn't go back to OnlyFans. I forgot that this is the whole like predecessor to the story. I tried to warn people. At first it was vague, aimed at other creators. Be careful who you work with. Don't let anyone make you feel special just to use you. Okay, Jeffrey Dahmer. That kind of thing. It didn't help. The heaviness in my chest didn't lift. So I got more specific. I wrote a whole thread about the retreat, about Leonardo, or Leandro, or fucking Luther, I don't care. About waking up to feeling older, about Ray vanishing. It ended as expected. I got DMs calling me jealous, an attention whore, a hater, a bitter ex-collabs. Someone told me to go touch grass. Someone else said if he drained you, he did a bad job. You used to like all this fuck, bitch. Classy. I deleted the posts. My follower and subscriber count didn't drop. It crashed overnight. I woke up and half my subscribers were gone. By that afternoon, almost all of them were. Collabs I'd done vanished from others' greatest profile. Men I'd become friends with, whom I'd talked to for months, blocked me out of nowhere. Videos I was featured in were deleted or re-edited like I'd never been in them. My digital footprint shrink. Well, he misspelled that. It should have been shrunk type shit. Until I was conveniently forgotten, and for the first time since the pandemic, I didn't care in the slightest. I thought the pandemic was still going on. But the others were still missing. Tyler, Carter, Diego, Ray. Tyler's OnlyFans, gone. His Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, nothing. No user not found, just like his handles had never existed. When I searched his name, I got a football coach in Ohio and a realtor in Florida. None of the old reposts of his gym selfies came up. Thirst gay accounts that used to spam him now had other guys in his place. Carter was the same. I tried every platform. I know what he'd been on. Plus Google, plus cached searches. Diego had told me the retreat he'd shot a pair of scenes for a big name studio. Videos that should have lived online forever. Gone. I haven't contacted the studio, but they replied that they had no record for any performer by his name. And Ray, God. No socials, no posts, no missing person report. No word families, just absence. It felt like reality had deleted them and left them. It's been almost 6 years. I've built something resembling a normal life. I've learned to joke about my age, to frame that changes in ways people can accept. Too much stress, rough pandemic, bad genetics. I tell people I'm older than I am so they compliment me for looking good for my age. Instead of asking why my knees hurt and my face doesn't match the year on my ID. I have a steady job in customer support, a patient boyfriend who knows my social media past but doesn't care or ask questions. Most days, the horror of the week feels far away. Like a story I'm telling myself about someone else. Then 2 weeks ago, I broke my own rule and looked him up. He hasn't aged a day. Still flawless, still gorgeous, still everywhere, still surrounded by new faces. In his most recent post, he was smiling on a beach somewhere in the south of France, the sunset framing him in gold. The caption was something bland and corny about being grateful for this life. That phrasing, this life, made something tight in my chest. I scrolled a few posts down. There was a video, new collab soon. The caption said, "He's so bright." In the clip, Leonardo sat on a couch in a different mansion, laughing with someone just out of frame. A hand came into the shot. A young hand, a tan, veined, a thin bracelet at the wrist. The camera tilted. There was a glimpse of a face, half-tuned. A boy in his mid-20s, soft around the cheeks, shy smile, eyes shining. The kind of boy who'd get a DM from a legend and feel like the universe had finally noticed him. I watched Leonardo look at him. Just that, a glance, a turn of the head. Even through the compressed little square of the video, the air in my bedroom seemed to pull tight. For a second I felt like all the oxygen was being drawn toward the phone screen. I slammed the app closed. My reflection in the black back glass stared at me. Older, tired, alive. Beside me, my boyfriend stirred, half asleep, and reached for me. I set the phone face down on the nightstand and moved closer to him, grounding myself in the warmth of someone real. That's why I'm writing this here, because of the normal world, in comment sections, fan pages, DMs, nobody wants to hear that their favorite pretty face might be something terrible. People would rather call me a hater or jealous than consider the possibility that this could be real. Believe that if you want, but I've already lost enough. All I want is for someone, somewhere, to remember this. If you're a content creator and you ever get a DM from Leonardo Lux telling you he loves your glow, your warmth, your brightness, if he offers to collab, if he invites you to some private getaway, if he tells you you're special, chosen, different, ignore him, block him, run from him. He'll make you feel seen in a way you've been starving for, especially if you're young and broken and lonely and living through a moment where the whole world feels unreal. Then he'll drink years out of you and walk away shining while you're left wondering why your body suddenly feels too old for your age, and why no one remembers the people who were standing next to him in last year's pictures. He almost took everything from me. Leandro, whatever he is still out there, still beautiful, still hungry, and I know sooner or later some poor guy out there will get a DM from him. Well,
That was what was the title? I forgot already.
I was an OnlyFans creator during the pandemic.
This was. Yeah.
Well, Mr. President, or Mr. Leonardo Lux, or anybody, really, who seems to be a vampire, I will gladly accept any DMs. You have my Twitter in the description, so feel free to hit me up. Just try to ignore the fact that I'm insane, and don't look at any of my tweets. Alright, next story. How'd you feel about that one, Overlord?
I might want to kill myself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. That was fucking dry. That was nasty. That was brutal. And yeah, I feel like shitting myself.
Why is it all so retarded?
I wouldn't.
What was that meant to be,
That was.
Mika?
That was.
It's meant to be an internet horror story.
It's r/no sleep asshole.
Yeah.
Let's see. And also, this is apparently the bad guy in that whole story.
Yeah, this is Lex Luthor over here.
Why would he do that?
Why would he do that?
Let's see. My company's AI assistant just revealed its avatar. It looks exactly like me. Grok took my identity. The deer pit. This sounds. All these sound so shit.
Holy parasites! Don't talk to the Bone Man of Appalachia.
My dog came back after a week of missing. They won't stop watching me. This is a Life of Luxury video. This is the type of shit these fuckers would upload.
Oh yeah, it's a...
My dog crawled into my bed at night. Let's see. How do YouTubers? Okay, how did Nexpo or everybody else, basically everyone who I'm copying right now, find all the good ones?
I don't know. I'm guessing they did.
Oh my god, I killed my sister for clout. That's the next one.
Still fun. That's the warning right there.
Guys,
Okay.
self-harm content warning. Fuck, self-harm content warning.
I still have the playlist we made on my phone.
Okay,
Okay, I'm
calm
not
down,
doing
guy
that.
from No Country for Old Men.
Fuck. How much you ever lost in a coin toss? I still have the playlist we made on my phone. It was mostly 2000s pop, and it's mostly trash 2000s pop and some indie bands she found on TikTok. I used to drive around for hours in my beat-up Honda and just listening to it. That was our thing. We'd go to the drive-thru at Wendy's, get 2 Frosties, and just drive until the gas light came on. Katie was cool. She was not just my sister. She was the only person in the house who actually got it. Our parents were fine, I guess. They loved us, but they were old and tired. Well, that's a shitty thing to say about your parents. Fuck you.
Yeah, dude, I would love to take my mom, but she's just so old.
Like, Like, like I know they fed and raised me and took care of us.
They're
but they're
unk.
just so-
They're hashtag unk.
yeah, they're just past their prime. They were the kind of parents who fell asleep on the couch at 8 p.m. and worried about the lawn more than anything else. Katie and I were a team. When I snuck out to go to that bonfire sophomore year, she stuffed pillows under my duvet to make it look like I was sleeping. She failed her math final and intercepted the report card in the mail, and we burned it in the backyard fire pit.
A lot of fire. A lot of
We look,
mentions of fire.
yeah. Wonder if sister's gonna burn.
I
Who knows?
hope you die.
In a fire. Okay. We looked out for each other. We're stuck in the same boring suburb, going to the same boring school, dealing with the same boring people. We survived by making fun of everything. We had a running commentary on the world. If we saw someone wearing a weird hat, we would look at each other and just know what the other was thinking. We didn't even have to say it. That is why what I did makes no sense. I look back at it now and I try to find a reason. I try to find some deep, dark anger, some hidden resentment. People always want a reason. The therapists I talk to now, they always dig for some childhood trauma or some sibling rivalry. They want a story that where I secretly hated her. But there was nothing. It was just a random afternoon. Katie had been talking about this guy, Alex, for months. She was obsessed. She wrote his name in her notebook. She knew his schedule. She knew what car he drove. It was honestly kind of pathetic, but in a cute way. She was 16. She had never really had a boyfriend. She had this idea of romance that she got from movies. She thought Alex was this deep, mysterious soul just because he wore a leather jacket and didn't talk much in chem lab.
He was an alpha.
I knew Alex. He wasn't deep. He was a stoner kid who played COD until 4 a.m. But I didn't tell her that. I let her have a fantasy. Damn, like he sounds cool.
Yeah,
Like,
this is like the
fuck.
coolest guy ever.
Yeah, like, doesn't seem bad. Afternoon, we were sitting in the living room. She was talking about him. She was talking about him again, wondering if he noticed her new shoes, wondering if he liked girls with curly hair. I was bored. That is the only excuse I have. I was bored and I was scrolling on my phone. Look, I wish I could just talk to him, she said, but I don't have his number. The idea popped into my head. Fully formed. It wasn't malicious. It was just something to do. A way to interrupt the boredom. I think I have this number. I lied. I think I have his number. I lied. I think he was in a group project with me last year. Her eyes went wide. Really? Do you still have it? Let me check, I said.
Why'd you do
I
the
didn't
girl
have-
voice? Let me check.
Fuck, okay.
Alright, retake,
No,
retake.
Yeah. Her eyes went wide. Really? Do you still have it? Let me check, I said. I didn't have his number. Obviously, I opened the App Store and downloaded WhatsApp. I set up a fake account using a burner number app. I set the profile picture to a grainy shot of a guitar I found on Google Images. Alex played guitar, or at least he carried one around. I created the account. I named it Alex. Then I looked at Katie. She was staring at me, practically vibrating with hope. Yeah, I found it, I said. Give it to me, she said. No, that is weird, I said. If you want to text him out of the blue, he will think you are a stalker. Let me text him. I'll tell him you're cool. I'll tell him to text you. She looked at me like I was a superhero. You would do that? Yeah, I said. I got you. Okay, this fucking dialogue is formatted like really like shittily.
ChatGPT.
Yeah,
Add Grok, write me a no sleep story.
Okay. I typed a message into the WhatsApp back. Excuse me. Okay, you take over.
Yeah.
Fat freak, you take over.
Hey, got your number from your brother. He said you're cool. I'm Alex. It's funny because I actually am. My phone buzzed in my hand as I sent it. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table a second later. She picked it up. She read the screen, then she screamed. Scream for effect. Yeah, that's more of a I'm being slaughtered scream. She literally jumped off the couch and screamed. She hugged me. She squeezed me so hard I couldn't breathe. He texted me! She squealed. He actually texted me! I should have stopped it there. I should have said, gotcha, and laughed and taken the punch to the shoulder. It would have been a funny story. We would have laughed about it at Wendy's later. Wendy's sponsor me. But I didn't. I just smiled. It felt good to be the one making things happen. It felt good to see her happy, even if it was fake. That's awesome, Katie, I said. What'd he say? She said me on the phone. He said you told him I was cool. Well, I said, I did. Why would you write that like that? Why wouldn't you say, I said, well, I did? Well, type shit. The next 24 hours were a blur of texts. I was texting her from the bathroom. I was texting her from my bed. I was texting her while sitting right next to her on the couch. I have a feeling this is gonna go in a completely different direction than I wanted to go.
Yeah.
It was too easy. I knew exactly what she wanted to hear. I knew she liked indie music, so Alex liked indie music. I knew she wanted someone to listen to her talk about her art class, so Alex asked tons of questions about her sketches. I was catfishing my own sister, and the sick part was, I thought I was being a good brother. I thought I was giving her a confidence boost. I told myself that even when I revealed the prank, she would see that she could talk to guys, that she was interesting. By Friday afternoon, she was in deep. She was walking around with a goofy smile on her face. She was humming. He wants to meet up, she told me Friday night. She was standing in my doorway. He wants to grab a burger tomorrow. I had sent that text 5 minutes ago. That's cool, I said. Are you going to go? I don't know, she said. I'm nervous. What if I say something stupid? You won't, I said. Just be yourself.
Why does a little bit of your fucking Romanian accent come out every time you do the fucking girl voice?
My voice was not built for this. He already likes you over text, right? Yeah, she said. Yeah, he does. I said, no, I can't stop thinking about that. I set the trap. I picked the diner on Main Street, the one with a neon sign that flickered. It was public. It was safe. It was the perfect stage. I can drive you, I offered, since Mom and Dad are going to that dinner thing. You're the best, she said. She went to her room to pick out clothes. I could hear her opening and closing drawers. I lay back on my bed and opened WhatsApp. Can't wait to see you, I typed. Fuck, wait, I read it wrong. Can't wait to see you, I typed. Me neither, she replied instantly. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. It was just so easy. That's some, first of all, actual Jeffrey Dahmer shit. It's so easy to catfish your sister. Saturday came. The mood in the house was electric. Katie spent 2 hours in the bathroom. She borrowed Mom's perfume. She came into my room to show me her outfit. She was wearing this blue dress she brought with her babysitting money. It had little white flowers on it. She had curled her hair. She was wearing lip gloss. She looked older. She looked pretty. She didn't look like my annoying little sister. She looked like a young woman going on her first real date. Not a good description, by the way. Considering everything else, not a good description.
Is this like is the brother or
we're gonna find that soon enough.
Like jealous? I don't know.
Do I look okay? She asked. She was twisting her hands together. Is it too much? Should I change? You look great, I said, and I meant it. Alex is going to flip. I hope so, she said. She took a deep breath. Okay, let's go.
I can't get over your voice.
we got in the car. I plugged in the phone. I put on the playlist. She was singing along to everything. She was tapping her hand on the dashboard. She was glowing. I drove to the diner. I pulled into the lot across the street. Go get him, I said. She unbuckled her seatbelt. She turned to me. Thanks, she said. Seriously, thanks for talking me up to him. No problem, I said. She got out. She walked across the street. She walked with her head held high. She looked confident. I watched her walk through the glass doors. I waited 5 minutes. I wanted her to get settled. I wanted the anticipation to build. Then I pulled down my phone. I opened the camera app and I hit record. I got out of the car. I crossed the street. I was smiling. I was rehearsing what I would say. Gotcha. Look at your face. You're so gullible. I walked into the diner. The bell above the door chimed. I saw her immediately. She was sitting in the third booth. She was facing the door. She had a menu in front of her, but she wasn't reading it. She was checking her reflection in the napkin holder. She was fixing her hair. She looked up when she heard the bell. Her face lit up when she saw me. It was pure, unfiltered joy. She thought I was there to check on her. Or maybe she thought I was there to say hi to Alex. Did you see him? She asked as I walked up. Is he parking? I didn't lower the phone. I zoomed in on her face. I wanted to catch the exact moment the realization hit. He's not coming, Katie, I said. She blinked. What? Is he running late? Did he text you? I shook my head. No, he didn't text me. I held up my phone. I switched from the camera up to WhatsApp. I showed her the messages, the blue bubbles, the grainy guitar picture. It was me, I said. Hi, I'm Alex. I waited for the laugh. I waited for the punchline. I waited for her to grab a french fry and throw it at me. I waited for her to say, you ass, and roll her eyes. But she didn't. The smile didn't turn into a frown. It didn't turn into anger. It just vanished. It fell off like her face, like a mask was slipping. She looked at the phone screen, then she looked at me, then she looked around the diner. There were a few other people in there, an old couple in the corner, a trucker at the counter. No one was looking at us, no one cared. But she looked like she was naked on stage. She shrank, physically shrank. Her shoulders hunched up. She crossed her arms over that blue dress with the white flowers. She looked like a little kid who had been told Santa was dead. "Why?" she whispered. It was such a quiet question. "It was just a joke," I said. The camera's still recording. "Smile. It's just a prank." She tried to smile. She actually tried. Her mouth twitched. It was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen. She didn't say anything else. She just slid out of the booth. She walked past me. She walked out of the door. I followed her. "Katie, come on. Don't be dramatic." She got into the car. She stared out the window. I got on the driver's side. I was annoyed now. I felt like she was ruining the bit. I felt like she was being a bad sport. "It was funny," I said. I started the car. You fell for it so hard. She didn't answer. She didn't put her seatbelt on. She just stared at the passing streetlights. I drove home in silence. The playlist was still playing, but she wasn't singing anymore. When we got home, I uploaded the video. I captioned that she actually fell for it. I tagged a few of her friends. I wanted validation. I wanted people to tell me it was funny, so I didn't have to feel weird, but feel the weird knot forming in my stomach. Katie went straight to her room. I heard her lock click. I went to my room. I refreshed the feed. The likes were rolling in. Comments were starting. "Lamau, look at her face." Read the next one.
This is brutal, cabrón.
Overlord, would you mind reading the third one?
Dude, I was AFK, I just got here.
Read what I'm highlighting.
Bro, you are evil.
I felt better, see? Everyone thought it was funny. It wasn't a big deal. I knocked on her door around 10 p.m. "Come on," I said through the wood. "Don't be a baby. Everyone thinks it's hilarious." She didn't answer. I woke up the next morning because the house was too quiet. Usually on Saturdays, Katie was up early. She'd be in the kitchen making pancakes or blasting music while she cleaned her room. But there was nothing, no sound. I looked at my phone. The video had over 1,000 views. People I didn't even know were sharing it. I got up, I went to the bathroom, the door was locked. "Katie," I knocked. "Hurry up, I need to pee." Nothing. "Katie, seriously, open the door." Silence. A heavy pressurized silence that made my ears popped. I got a penny from the dresser. I used it to turn the lock from the outside. The door swung open. Katie was on the floor. She was curled up around the toilet. She was still wearing the blue dress. There were empty blister packs everywhere. Tylenol, Advil, my dad's old prescription painkillers for his back. The box was torn open. The foil was punched out. I laughed at first. A short, sharp bark of laugh. "Ha! Okay." I said, "You got me. Good one. Get up." I nudged her leg with my foot. She didn't move. She was heavy, stiff. I knelt down. I touched her arm. It was cold, not cool from the tile. Cold, deep radiating cold, like touching a piece of frozen meat. I grabbed her shoulder. I tried to shake her. Her head didn't flop. Her neck was rigid. Her jaw was clamped shut. Her eyes were open, staring at the porcelain of the toilet bowl. They were cloudy. I don't remember screaming, but I must have, because my mom was suddenly there. Then my dad. My mom made a sound I didn't know a human could make. It wasn't a scream. It was a raw, animal howl. She fell to her knees. Wait, I know it.
The fuck?
She fell to her knees. She tried to pull Kitty up, but the rigor mortis, the Rick and Morty had already set in. Kitty was frozen in that curled up shape. The paramedics came. Moving her was the worst part, because she was stiff. They couldn't get her. They couldn't just put her on the stretcher. They had to maneuver her down the narrow hallway. They had to tilt her to get through her through the doorframe. It felt disrespectful. It felt like they were moving a mannequin, not a person. I stood at the top of the stairs and watched. I had killed my sister. I had killed her for likes. I had killed her because I was bored. The house died that day. My parents stopped speaking. They stopped eating. They moved through the rooms like ghosts, avoiding eye contact with me. They didn't blame me out loud. The police ruled it a suicide, a tragedy, an impulsive act by a teenager. But they knew and I knew. The video was gone. They deleted it that afternoon, but it was too late. People had seen it. People knew. The funeral was 3 days later. It was an open casket. I wish it hadn't been. By then the stiffness had passed. She looked soft, too soft. The mortician had used too much makeup to cover the gray. Her Her cheeks were too pink. Her lips were a weird, waxy orange. It didn't look like Katie. It looked like a doll that someone had melted and tried to reshape. I stood by the casket and tried to cry, but I couldn't. I just felt empty. I felt like there was a hole in my chest where my heart used to be. After the funeral, the sounds took over. It wasn't peaceful. It was heavy. It felt like the air in the house was made of lead. I stopped sleeping. I couldn't close my eyes without seeing her face in the diner. I missed her. I missed the car rides. I missed the playlist. I missed my teammate. I missed my Overwatch deal. I missed the only person who understood me. I started spending my nights sitting in the hallway outside her room. I couldn't go in. I couldn't even look at the empty bed, so I just sat against the wall and stared at the door. That is when the sounds started. It began about 3 weeks after she went into the ground. I was dozing off, my head resting on my knees. Ding! My head snapped up. It was the specific tritone chime of a WhatsApp notification. Oh my god, haunted WhatsApp! I checked my phone. It was silent. Ding! It came from inside her room. My heart began to beat like a drum. I knew her phone was in the evidence box at the police station. I knew the room was empty, but the sound was there. Clear as day. I stood up. My legs were numb. I reached for the doorknob. I opened the door. Her room smelled like dust, and that cloying floral perfume she would worn that night. The bed was made. The desk was clear. Ding! Well, now that we got confirmation, WhatsApp noise. I hate that noise. The sound wasn't coming from a device. It was coming from the corner of the room, from the shadows between the wardrobe and the wall. Katie? I whispered. The shadow moved. It didn't look like a ghost. It didn't look like her. It looked like a smudge on a camera lens, a blur of darkness in the shape of a person. It was taller than she was, darker than the dark around it. It didn't speak. It just waited. I should have run. I should have woken my parents, but I was so tired. I was so full of this rotting black guilt. I just wanted something to happen. I wanted to be punished. Are you there? I asked. The shadow didn't answer, but a thought appeared in my head. It wasn't my voice. It sounded flat, hollow, like wind blowing through a pipe. Undo.
Undo.
It whispered.
Undo.
The word echoed in my skull. It was inaudible. It was bouncing through my own mind, a thought that was not like my own. I fell to my knees on our carpet. I want to. I want to undo it. I just want things to go back to normal. The shadow seemed to expand. It filled the room with a cold that burned my skin. It wasn't the cold of the air conditioning. It was the same cold that I felt when I touched her arm on the bathroom floor. Normal. The hollow voice said.
We can do normal. Open the door.
How? I asked. Tell me how. The door's already open, the voice droned. Oh, what? Read this.
The fucking quote. Okay.
The door is already open.
The voice droned.
You opened it when you called for her. You just have to invite her back in.
I wiped my face. I looked at the shadow. It didn't have eyes, but I could feel it watching me. It felt like something. I can't even explain what it felt like, but I didn't care. What do I do?
Tonight,
The voice said.
unlock the back door. Call her name. Wanted.
Is it that easy? I asked.
You have to want it more than you want to be safe.
The voice said. I nodded. I did. I wanted I wanted it more than anything. I spent the rest of the day in a daze. I watched my parents sit at the dinner table and push peas around their plates. They looked gray. They looked like they were waiting to die. If I brought her back, I could fix this. I could fix them. Night fell and the house went dark. I waited until I heard my parents' bedroom door close. Then I went downstairs. I unlocked the back door. I turned off the porch light. I sat on the kitchen floor and waited. Wyatt, our golden retriever, came into the kitchen. He was a good dog. That was a bag of rocks. But loyal. Wow, this guy's an asshole. First of all, he calls his parents old, and then he kills his sister for TikTok likes, and he says his dog's dumb. He trotted over to me, his tail wagging, but then he stopped. He looked at the back door. His ears were back, his tail tucked between his legs. He started to whine, a high, pitiful sound. It is okay, Wyatt, I whispered. She's coming home. Wyatt didn't look at me. He backed away. Also, Wyatt is a crazy name for a dog. He kept... Oh, this is my dog, Isaiah. He kept backing up until he hit the cabinets. Then he bolted into the living room. I heard his claws scrambling on the hardwood. I sat alone in the dark. Around 3 a.m. I heard it. 8D?
But hold the fuck on, what was that YouTube Shorts recommendation?
I don't want to know.
What the fuck?
It wasn't a hand. It sounded like hard, like bone hitting wood. I scrambled up. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely grip the handle. I threw the door open. The backyard was pitch black. It was raining, a cold, steady drizzle. Katie was standing on the patio. She looked small. She was wearing a thick gray hoodie. I recognized it was my old one. She had the hood pulled up tight. She had a wool scarf wrapped around her lower half of the face. She was wearing gloves. She was shivering. Violent, jerking shivers that rattled her whole body. Katie? I whispered. She didn't look up immediately. She just stood there, vibrating in the rain. Then she stepped inside. She moved stiffly, like she was so cold her joints had locked up. She looked like a little girl who had been out in a storm for too long. Katie, it is. It is me, I said. I reached out to hug her. She felt solid. She felt real, but she was freezing. It was like hugging a snowman wrapped in cotton. She didn't hug me back. She just stood there, her arms pinned to the sides. You are freezing. Dude, what is this guy and using... Whatever. I said... I pulled back to look at her. Continue, Isaiah. Continue. Let the people know.
Is this motherfucker, like, allergic to contractions? Like, what?
He's a very formal man. He's a very formal
Yeah,
young man.
You are freezing.
Katie, it is me. Katie, you are freezing. Like, thanks, man. Now I know. The hood shattered her eyes. The scarf covered her mouth and her nose. All I could see was the bridge of her nose. The skin looked pale, but it was dark in the kitchen. It is okay, I said. I'm crying now. Oh, crying now. You're home. I fixed it. I fixed it. She nodded. I led her to the living room. She walked with a weird limp, dragging her left leg a little, but I told myself it was just the cold. She sat on the couch, staring straight ahead. I missed you so much, I said. I sat on the coffee table in front of her. Mom and Dad are gonna be so happy. She didn't answer. The house smelled funny, like wet dirt and something sweet, like old fruit. I figured it was just the mud on her clothes. Say something, I pleaded. Please. She made a sound. It was muffled by the scarf. It sounded like a dry wheeze. Please go ahead.
Okay. Wait, what? Oh. Great.
Maybe you say it so that the fucking OBS can hear you as well?
Yeah.
That was shittier than the first time.
Fuck. Hungry.
She whispered. My heart broke. She sounded so weak. Hungry? Okay, well, I'll get you something. I'll make you whatever you want. I ran to the kitchen. I was manic with relief. She was here. She was talking. It worked. I pulled that ham, cheese, bread. I started making a sandwich. I was humming. I was actually humming. Then I realized something. It was quiet. Wyatt usually came running when he heard the cheese wrapper. He was obsessed with cheese. Wyatt? I called out. Come here, boy. Nothing.
Armaniac soldier, come here, boy.
Nothing. I finished the sandwich. I put it on a plate. Wyatt! No. Wyatt, I whistled? I don't know how to whistle. Not when I want to. Wyatt! I called. I whistled. Silence. A cold feeling started in my stomach. Not the good cold of relief, the bad cold of fear. I walked into the hallway. Wyatt? The door to the basement was cracked open. Wyatt wasn't allowed in the basement. I don't think the dog opened the door. I don't know. I walked over. I pushed the door open. Wyatt, get out of there! I turned on the light. At the bottom of the stairs, there was a heap of golden fur. It wasn't moving. I walked down the stairs. My legs felt heavy. Wyatt? I got to the bottom step. It was Wyatt, but he was... something wasn't right. He was torn open. His stomach was gone. His ribs were cracked open like a wishbone. There was blood everywhere. It was pooled on the concrete.
Wait.
Something wasn't right. He was mangled.
Yeah. You're describing a fucking moment where your dog is mutilated, and the only thing you have to say is, something doesn't seem right.
Something smells fishy. Something smells fishy here.
like a fucking LA Noir.
He just didn't seem like himself. His stomach was ripped open.
I need to get to the bottom of this. Well, shame.
It wasn't an accident. Something had done this. Something strong. Yeah. Oh yeah, I hate when my dog falls down the stairs. All his ribs crack open. His stomach tears open. His brain gets fucking like mushed, and he just dies there automatically. I heard a creak on the stairs behind me. I spun around. Katie was standing at the top of the stairs. The hood was down. The scarf was gone. Her face was gray. Her jaw was hanging loose, unhinged on one side. Her mouth was stained red with blood. Really? She was holding the sandwich I made her. She crushed it in her gloved hand and let it drop to the floor. Still.
Ungrateful.
No, fuck. Reading.
I was just saying, like, she's an ungrateful cunt.
Oh.
Still hungry.
She rasped.
You
I backed until I hit the washing machine. Katie? I choked out. Wait. Choked out? How do you... Katie? She walked down the stairs. She didn't walk like a person anymore. She moved like a spider, her limbs jerking and snapping into place. She stopped at the bottom. She looked at the dog, and then she looked at me. Her eyes were milky white and sunken in. You did this? I whispered. She tilted her head. Her neck cracked.
Empty.
She said. Her voice was wet now.
So empty.
That sounds wet. What are you? I screamed.
Your sister.
She said, but the way she said it was wrong. It was like she was mimicking a recording.
You wanted me back.
Not like this, I said. I didn't want this. She took a step towards me.
You owe me.
She hissed. It wasn't a threat. It was a plea. She looked at me for a second. The milky film of her eyes seemed too thin. Seemed too thin. I saw brown underneath. I saw panic.
It hurts.
She whined. She sounded like a little kid.
It hurts so much. I am so hungry. I am so angry.
How? I asked, trembling. What do you need? The shadow peeled itself off of the basement wall and stood next to her, tall and jagged.
He needs the source.
The voice droned.
She is running on fumes. She needs the fuel that burned her out.
Me? I asked. Katie nodded. She reached out a hand. The glove had fallen off. Her fingers were gray and withered. Freddie,
Please,
she whispered.
let me eat. Then I will be whole again. Then I will be Katie again.
I looked at her. I looked at the dog. If you eat me, I said, you'll kill me. You will kill me,
Yes,
she said.
exchange. A life for a life. You took mine. Give it back.
She stepped closer. I could smell death on her breath.
I can't be like this.
She cried.
It is cold. It is dark. Please, brother, help me.
She was using my guilt. She was reaching right into my chest and squeezing my heart. She knew exactly what to say. If I let you, I said, will you remember? She paused. She licked the blood off her lip.
Yes.
I looked at her. Really looked at her. If I let her eat me, I wasn't saving her. I was cursing her. I was forcing her to live with the memory of tearing her brother apart. I was turning her into a monster forever, just so I didn't have to feel bad anymore. No, I said. Her face twisted. The sadness vanished. The hunger snapped back into place.
Give it to me.
She shrieked. She lunged. She hit me hard. We fell onto the concrete floor. She was strong, unnaturally strong. Her hands pinned my shoulders. Her jaw unhinged even further. Her mouth was a cavern of red teeth. She snapped at my face. I turned my head. Her teeth clicked inches from my ear. Katie, stop! I yelled. Look at me! She drew back to strike again. I'm sorry. I am sorry, I screamed. I am sorry I wasn't a... And see, now he uses a contraction. I am sorry I wasn't a better brother. She froze. She hovered over me, dripping saliva onto my shirt. She looked down at me. The hunger flickered. The brown eyes came back. She looked at her where her hands were pinning me down. She looked at the dead dog in the corner. She realized what she was. She rolled off me. She scrambled into the corner, away from me. She curled up into a ball, hiding her face.
Make it stop.
She sobbed.
Please make it stop.
The shadow hissed.
Do not listen to her. Feed her.
No, I said. I stood up. I looked around. My dad's old tool bench was next to the dryer. I grabbed a long screwdriver. It was rusty, but the tip was sharp. I walked over to Katie. She looked up. She saw the screwdriver. She didn't run. She didn't fight. She uncurled her legs. She opened her arms, exposed their chest. Do it. Oh, fuck.
Do it.
She wheezed. I fell to my knees in front of her. The smell of rot and dog blood was overwhelming. Dog blood? I love you. I said, I tried. I really tried. I whimpered out with tears rolling down my cheeks.
I know.
She whispered. Her voice was clear. No rasp, no hunger, just Katie.
It is okay.
I put the tip of the screwdriver against her chest. I pushed. It was hard. Her skin was like leather. I had to use both hands. I had to put my weight into it. She gasped. Her back arched. Her hands grabbed my arms, but she didn't push me away. She pulled me closer.
Thank you.
She breathed. Then she went heavy. The tension left her body. She slumped against me. The shadow screamed. It was like a siren dying. Then the basement light flickered, and the room was empty. Let's see. Shadow screamed. Let's see.
Yeah.
I sat there in the cold concrete, holding my sister's body, waiting for the sirens. That was 3 years ago. I spent two of those years in a state facility. The doctors called it a psychotic break. They said I dug her up to say goodbye. They said I killed Wyatt because I couldn't tell the difference between life and death anymore. I let them believe it. I took the pills. I nodded when they talked about processing grief. It was easier than trying to explain the shadow man in the basement. I've been out for a year now. I live in a different state. I have a job stocking shelves at a grocery store on the night shift. Oh my, this is actually the story of Canadian. It's quiet. I like the quiet. My parents don't talk to me. I don't blame them. To them, I'm just a monster who dug up their daughter. I'm writing this because I need to ask the question. I need to know if I'm the only one. That shadow. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't Katie. It was just something bad. It didn't leave me because I won. I didn't win anything. It left because the show was over. It got what it wanted. It wanted to see how far I would go. But where did it go? I look at people now. I see the tired lady buying frozen dinners at 3 a.m. I see the guy sitting in his car in the parking lot, just staring at the steering wheel. Everyone has something they regret. Everyone has a moment they want to undo. I wonder if it's watching them too. I wonder if it's standing in the corner of your room right now, waiting for you to get desperate enough to open the door. If you are reading this and you have a heavy heart, if you hear a voice that sounds like your own thoughts offering you a way to fix things, don't listen. Just live with the guilt. It sucks and it's heavy, but hey, at least it's yours. At least it doesn't eat you. And that was I Killed My Sister for Clout. Round of applause, everybody. Oh my god, you're joking. Wait, Jebediah, say something. Okay, thank god your audio was on the whole time. That scared me.
That was a beautiful morality tale. I have tears in my eyes as we speak.
I can really hear them. And I can hear the knot in your throat. Would you kill your dog for clout?
Fuck no, this is...
Would you say that your room smells like dog blood? And could you tell the difference between dog blood and human blood?
Is this the origin of, like, Jack Doherty or something? Like...
Big Red is... No, this is Big Red.
Oh, okay.
The fucking devil, by the way. This guy... Oh, he has a YouTube channel?
You need to go to his comments as well.
You fuck. Look, this guy's using his Victorinox. Who drinks wine? You're not supposed to drink wine on New Year's. You're supposed to drink champagne. Alright, one more, but hopefully it's not the fucking like longest one ever.
Yeah, it's like 4:42 for me. Like, I need to...
Those two stories were 1 hour long, by the way.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Let's see. Harbinger. Store death makes me right. Something sits with me. They have protein and everything now, don't they? That's gonna be like some Soylent Green shit.
Yeah. The Troll Man.
Tell me it's long. Okay, it's not that long. Okay, final one, the Troll Man. Yeah, let's have Jebediah read this one.
Okay, so I need to get this off my chest. What the fuck?
What? Oh my god, the troll man came to his house, guys. Help him.
Yeah, no, I need to go to bed. I just woke up my parents. Yeah, I'll see you later, guys.
Alright, see you later. Well, Overlord, just you and me. The troll man. I need to get this off my chest. I don't care about the consequences anymore. I don't care if I'm arrested. I don't care if I go to prison. I just need someone to know what happened. A few weeks ago, a man named Arthur went missing. Arthur wasn't the kind of person who... What? Hello?
Why do you keep doing this?
I'm recording. I'm making a YouTube video.
That's crazy.
I know, right? Overlord, can we get a shout out for Power Maniac Soldier Industries?
In the what?
Something like that. Say something funny so I can put it in the video so I can have Turkish representation.
Let me think about it.
Okay, just say it when you're ready. A few weeks ago, a man named Arthur went missing. Arthur wasn't the kind of person who could disappear quietly. Online, he was everywhere. If you stopped posting for 10 minutes, people noticed. If an account went inactive, someone would archive it. That's just how the community worked. So when Arthur vanished completely, people started looking. Then the tapes arrived. Every admin, every longtime moderator, everyone that had ever documented, mocked, or interfered with Arthur's life received a VHS tape in the mail. No return address, no note, just a label written in marker. Troll Man. Arthur had been online since the early days of the internet. He loved medieval fantasy, trolls, and Shreks. Obsessively, he drew comics, wrote rambling posts, and filmed videos in his bedroom that he called the Round Table Tavern, even though it was just his room in his mother's house, filled all wall to wall with memorabilia. The people messed with him, at first lightly, then constantly, then cruelly. It snowballed, more people joined in, it became entertainment. Then he disappeared. The tape I received begins with Arthur dancing in front of the poorly edited background of his tavern. He's smiling, performing stiff karate moves. No need to worry about me, he says, glancing repeatedly to his left. These trolls will never take my spirit, he laughs. His movements are erratic. There's no way they could take me, I'm too powerful. They're all too stupid. The camera suddenly tips sideways. Inner movement off screen, a struggle, 3 heavy thumps, and a scream. The tape cuts to static. The police told me later that this was the first tape chronologically. I didn't tell them everything. 2 weeks later, Arthur's mother told police she hadn't seen him in 6 months. He used to call her regularly, then he just stopped. A few weeks after that, she received a VHS tape labeled The Bridge. It shows a dark, abandoned bridge at night. You can barely make it out. A voice off camera recites riddles. Nonsensical, mocking, childish. That's when she filed the missing persons report. Police searched briefly. Arthur had a history of wandering, filming himself, posting videos. They assumed he'd come back. He never did. He went to his town in Illinois. People remembered him as a quiet reclusive. He wandered streets alone. Sometimes he'd visit Barnes & Noble and buy fantasy novels. Near the end, people would say that he'd begun proclaiming himself as the reincarnation of King Arthur in public. He was eventually banned from the bookstore. After that, he was mostly regarded as a nuisance. The police eventually allowed me to view what they believed was the second tape. Arthur sits at the wooden table in front of the fake fantasy tavern background. He wears a Viking helmet, a fake beard, and has visible black eye and bruising on his neck. He holds a beer pitcher and a turkey leg. I'm the mighty King Arthur, he says. This mead and meat will keep me strong for my fair maidens. A voice behind the camera speaks. What maidens? Arthur hesitates. My dear Guinevere. A massive shadow looms over him. Tape cuts out. After the purge, after the tapes were leaked, the community erased everything. Forums wiped, wikis deleted, archives scrubbed. I opted on forcing. I threatened people, blackmailed some. I hate myself for that, but something worse started happening. Anyone who tried to rebuild any post, a site, or even hashtag mentioning Arthur received a package. One woman opened her door to find a medieval sword hanging from a string above her porch. Another received a mace. One man received a bundle of straw. After that, their lives collapsed. The man with the straw, his house burned down. He and his family died inside. Others vanished. Their posts were deleted. Accounts gone. No contact. Only rumors remained. A woman crushed her family with rocks. Another cut the string and let the sword fall into her body. No proof. Just stories. Just like Arthur. The third tape. Police described the remaining tapes to me. Muster static. Long shots of a blacksmith's forge, always with the outlines of a man watching with a background. Only 7 tapes featured Arthur. The 3rd tape began with the text, "For the first of my kind." It shows a figure with the police called the Troll Man chasing Arthur through the woods with a cattle prod. Arthur screams. The figure tackles him. Alex shows that he crackles. The only sounds are Arthur's screams and muffled laughter. I know who it was meant for. The first major troll. His username was Red Bump. They found him weeks later, shaved, starving, living under a bridge. He barely spoke, just repeated one sentence. Over the trees in the hole, you'll find the king dead as the door. That's all it keeps single. That's all it keeps single. I'll get back to you when I find out more information. What the fuck?
Okay, I came back on my phone. That was the story.
This is so shit. No, that's beautiful. Well, Isaiah, Jebediah, Overlord, Excozo, Gnojek 12, Gargma 1223. Who else is in the BC? Smoker Tosi. Who else do we have? Auditory, fucking Fabi 123123. Who else do we know? There has to be more people in this Discord server. We have 91. All right, so okay. Everyone in VC we have right now. We have Excozo, we have Isaiah, we have Jebediah, we have Overlord, we have 91, we have Jamal, we have Big Jimmy, we got Fijik, we got Yannick, we got Fabi, we got Slavsk, we got CT, we got Mihai, we got Ek, we got Garbage, we got Ivan, we have 101, we have Alex, we have Gargama 1223, we have Thin, we have Val, we have Solace. We have a lot of people in VC, guys, so what do you guys think about the whole thing?
Oh, tough crowd. Never mind, it seems they liked it.
Well, that's all, folks. Anything to end of the video? 2026, you're the Pyromaniac Soldier. Well, see you guys on the flip side.